Hello, everyone. This is Anne with Connor's Clinic, and today we are going to talk a little bit about dairy and the MCM6 gene on your genetic report. So really the definition of dairy is any food or drink that contains milk. So I have some examples here. Most people know what dairy is, but obviously anything that is cheese is dairy, butter, ice cream, yogurts, whey protein, powdered milk. Ghee is technically considered dairy because it is the fat from butter. It's butter fat, condensed milk, sour cream. So all of these things are considered dairy. And these are the components that make up dairy. So it's largely water. And then we have the sugar component, which is lactose. There's fats, there's different proteins. So casein is a protein that dairy consists of, and then it's vitamins and minerals. So many people can have an intolerance to lactose or an intolerance to some of the proteins in dairy. So casein and lactose are kind of the offenders that people might have issues with when it comes to dairy. Oh, whoops. Excuse me. Back to this one. So, and then a lot of times people, when we talk about, okay, how many sources of dairy are you consuming in a day? And you kind of walk through your meals for the day. A lot of times people say, well, and I eat eggs. So here's just a little reminder that eggs are not considered dairy. So dairy comes from cows or, goats. So here's just a little funny. This is cheese. Cheese comes from cows. This is an egg. An egg comes from a chicken. So eggs do not equal dairy. So just a little reminder. So eggs, when we're talking about dairy, we're not talking about eggs. And this is what the MCM6 gene looks like on your genetic report. So we've got two genes of interest here that are listed, and obviously the variants column. So you can either have a blank in that box or you can have a 1 or a 2. This person has twos, so double allele variants in both of these key genes for dairy. And really what this indicates, this is the only gene that is kind of the opposite of what you think. So you see those variants there and you think, oh, I must be lactose intolerant because I have variants there. Actually, it's the opposite. And this is really the only gene where, that is the case. Where having variants actually means that you are more likely to be able to digest the lactose component of dairy. Again, this is just looking at the lactose component. We're not looking at the proteins. So we're not looking at the casein in dairy. So you might have a sensitivity or allergy to casein. So we're just looking at lactose. And really the MCM6 gene impacts another gene called LCT. And the LCT gene is the gene that provides instructions for making the enzyme lactase. So that's the enzyme that helps to break down the lactose, the sugar component in dairy. So without that enzyme, you can't really break that lactose down, and you might have a lactose intolerance. And that is actually, as we age, the normal expression of this gene is for it to, be on when we're young, and we need dairy, we need that for growth. And so when we don't have variants here, the normal expression is for this gene to be turned on in childhood, and then slowly as we age, it kind of turns off and doesn't work anymore. Therefore, as you age, you might become sensitive to the lactose in dairy or lactose intolerant. That's the normal expression. When you have variants here, it actually means that these genes are likely still turned on into adulthood, Therefore, you might still be able to break down the lactose in dairy as an adult, and you might not have any issues with lactose. So variants here are not a bad thing in this situation. Means the gene is likely turned on and you might not have any issues digesting lactose. So if you don't have variants, again, that's the normal expression, and normal expression is to kind of develop sensitivity or inability to break down lactose as we age. So you can kind of read through this and it goes into a little more detail. So this is how you're kind of interpreting your genetics. So again, we're just looking at that lactose component. So take that into consideration as you're kind of reflecting on yourself and your body's reaction to dairy when you consume it. And then if you do have a cancer diagnosis, so as I mentioned earlier, dairy is something that stimulates growth, and it's designed to do that because dairy, is designed to take a baby and help them rapidly grow into a young adult and into adulthood. So there's growth factors that are in dairy that are supposed to be there for that case. When we're talking about a cancer diagnosis, growth is not something that we want to encourage. So, a lot of times with our cancer patients, we are advising them or recommending they stay away from dairy. And it's for this reason. You might not have any issues processing dairy. Your gut is fine, no issues with bowel movements or diarrhea, anything like that related to dairy. However, with cancer, we still want to limit dairy for this growth factor component. So take a look at your recommendations as far as the MCM6 gene and dairy, and hopefully this video helps you understand your genetic report in this section a little better, because this can be one of the confusing ones when it comes to looking at genetic variants for the MCM6 gene. All right, I hope you have a good day, and we will talk soon in the next video. Take care.